Greetings, class. Chris Haskins here with the realestateroundup.com. Welcome you to another flip tip. If you got a few seconds, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Today I've got something special for me. Like the content below, share the content with some other real estate investor that can use this information. Today, before I take you to another day in the life of a real estate investor, I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to sacrifice my time to bring you quality information. My mission statement is to uplift the financial literacy of my community through real estate investing. And I don't take lightly that you're sacrificing your time to be here with me today on our journeys. The purpose of this quick introduction, if you will, is to show you that I may look at 30, 40, even 50 houses before I buy one. So I want you to make sure, and I'm an amateur at this, I'm an amateur at the good book. But the good book says a man that enjoys his work will be blessed. So we have to find out a way to enjoy our work and don't get frustrated with looking at houses. You can go ahead. Now today, once again, I am honored because I have the time to fulfill my mission statement to you and to my family. It's the middle of the day. I am being daddy daycare. I get the opportunity to watch my children. It's about 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. It's spring break. So I've got both my kids and we're looking at houses. And matter of fact, one of my daughters is going to be the videographer for one of the videos you'll see. But this is going to be a two-part video training series. We're going to go to 2 houses. The first one, but neither of these properties have any equity. So we're going to show you how we put together and what do deals without equity even look like. All right, so let's get out there, and I want you to first get out there, make a lot of money, and help a lot of people, as Lou Dow would say. All right, let's go look at this first house. Hey guys, Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com. Thank you for rolling with us today, watching our content. We are here at another house. I'm hanging out with Demetrius and John. How you doing, guys?
Well.
Today in the life of a real estate investor, we're going to be going to 2 sites. Both of these properties are going to be subject to / lease options / owner financing / contract for deed. I don't know what state you're in, but they might ring a bell depending on if you're in Texas or Florida or South Carolina or Virginia or New York. Depending on where you are, you need to set this up the right way. Doing the subject to in your state might not be the best thing to do. But what we do here is we take over properties. All that means is the seller deeds us the house, keeps the loan in their name. All we do is take over the payments. The story with this one is, and we'll walk through in a minute, we took over the payments about 6 months ago, and then we sold it to somebody, and the contractor has not been living up to his obligations, so we're going to try to help him resell this house with the financing. So let's take a walk through, John, Demetrius, so you can see. We don't do any repairs to this property. We're in the kitchen. Take a look at the kitchen. Stand over there, Demetrius, you can see that. John, you can see too. You can see this kitchen is actually, it's livable, right? But it's not sexy. You see we got some flooring mess problems here. And it looks like the contractor has got his gear here, but it's been so cold here in the Tidewater area that nobody really wants to do any work here. So this is the living room. It looks like they did some painting here. We've got old windows, and then you've got, you see the infamous stickers here where the bank has come change the lock, so that tells you he's behind on payments. So what we're gonna try to do is resell this thing to another homeowner. We're gonna do a lease option. So the floors look good. All we need to do is be sanded. You good, brother?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you this.
Okay.
You have one on the window anyway.
That's fine.
That's who's sending people out here.
Well,
they ask me,
oh.
I'm gonna turn this in, and they're gonna be like, okay.
Okay.
And they don't care.
They let the key in the
Yeah.
block.
No, they don't care.
Okay, man.
Everything's good.
Thank
So
you,
I'm
man.
gonna shut my lockbox and take a picture of that.
Okay.
And from that point on, I'm out of the house. It's y'all.
Peace.
Thank you, buddy.
So he was here with the bank. I guess he was securing the property. The bank sent him over to do some work because they're behind on payments. That's what happened. So here's our first bathroom here. Got your light. No light, come on in. Can you see that, D? So the tub doesn't look in the best shape. However, when you're doing, is this ice? No. When you're doing a lease option, we're gonna sell this property. We're doing no repairs. You don't actually have to have a sexy house. So we'll see a tenant buyer will come in and give us a small down payment eventually. All right, so this is a room. This used to be a pass-through here. So it looks like what Steve did, we closed this in. We made a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Looks like they want to make a 2-bath. So let's see what they got. What you got, bro? Okay. I don't care. I mean, you gotta give me the keys.
No, y'all are fine.
Yeah. All right.
No, it's just for.
That's cool.
So they have proof that I'm not making them.
All right.
Triple checking.
We got a triple check on that. Good lord. You can take all that.
Here's your videos.
Damn. So you see this bedroom here is nothing special. The wall needs to be painted over. You got a question, John? Oh. Whoa. Okay, let's go through the kitchen here. We'll get to the other bedroom. So we got 2 bedrooms up here. Walk through here. It's actually real nice. Got a hot water, tankless hot water heater there. So what my guy did was actually close that wall in. What he did was close that wall in that other bedroom, right? So now we created, this used to be in our, I guess this is like a utility room maybe. So you can, if you stand back there, you can kind of see, this is our new master bathroom. Bob, see you later. Our new master bathroom. If you turn that, it's gonna be weird. I'm gonna chop that up. You fine.
No, I just did it real quick.
It's gonna be the shower. All right, so you'll be able to come, stay right there. You come through your master bathroom, come in here, got your toilet, your vanity there, and then you got walk into your beautiful new shower. It's gonna be very nice. And you'll be able to access your bedroom from the kitchen, come through here, and walk right. This used to be a wall here. We cut this wall open. Now we're in our master bedroom, right? It's very nice. So this actually turns into a master suite. If you stand over there, we'll show you how. What used to be, remember that wall we saw in that other bedroom? You used to have to walk through a bedroom to get to the other bedroom, which was real nasty. In the real estate business, we call that functional obsolescence, where you have a room, you have to walk through living space to get to a bedroom. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we walk through hallways to get to bedrooms, right? We don't want to walk through bedrooms to get to bedrooms. So we're gonna be able to access our new bathroom right here through here. You see, we cut this all out to make an entryway. And that's our new closet, which turns out real good. And it's actually, hey Daniel, what's up, bro? It actually turns out to be real good when you talk about the flow of the house. So this is good. We're turning this from almost a 2-1 to a 3-2. And let's see, anything else? So the problem is that we're running into is our contractor ran out of money. So what we're gonna do is try to resell this, working with the owner that we sold it to before, to see if we can get a down payment from another tenant buyer. I believe, in my experience, a 3-2 like this, you can at least get another $5,000 down payment. The monthly payment on this one, which I'll flash up and I'll show you guys when we get in the car, right around $750. So if you can maybe rent this for $850, make $100 a month, maybe, I don't know, maybe 900. But the kicker to this, or the sizzle, is you're a homeowner now without qualifying for a loan, and you got a 3-2 if you got some cash to finish this bedroom. Any questions on this one, guys? We can give it in the car up. We give it in the car. Any questions?
Is this door going to remain this size?
Is that door going to remain that size? Come in here, Dan. Demetrius, get a picture there. This door is a little thin. John, you be struggling.
Right, you got that right.
John be struggling. What do you think, Daniel? I don't know. Oh, you got some space here? So we could probably move this wall back. Yeah, we need at least 24 inch here. Yeah, this is a little thin. Yeah. It is a little thin. Go ahead and snap a still. Right? You ain't snap a. So what we might have to do is open this wall up here, maybe. But I really, when doing with a lease option, I don't want to do anything. We want to sell houses as is. And the next place, our next location, you'll see. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's not in the best shape. But when we do lease options, that's why we don't do leases. When you do rental properties, you have to do a bunch of repairs. We don't do repairs, very little. You know, roofs, I might have to do, central heating in there, I might have to do, but I don't want to do like this stuff here. I don't want to do anything but get a down payment. My mentor told me yesterday, when you talk to tenant buyers, he says he didn't know anything about real estate. All he knows is about financing. So that's my new thing. I don't even know. People ask me about houses. I don't know anything about houses. All we do is collect money. You know, just unreal statement. So Scott, thank you for that one. All right, we'll get some questions in the car as we go. Okay, so we just left the house there. You guys had a question, John?
Yeah, I picked up this mail I told you about at the house, got your name on it. Can you see?
Okay.
Be able to tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, this is interesting. We just left the house, right? John found some mail there. Excellent question. Some mail at the house has got my name on it. And I told you guys I wasn't the owner, right? We buy them and sell them. So from time to time, well, actually every house we buy, we put them in a trust. One of the golden rules of real estate is never put an asset in your name. Try not to use your money, but we don't want to put houses in our name, right? So the guy that I sold it to, he asked me to be his trustee for his trust, okay? So when he bought the property, he was like, Chris, you've been doing it longer than me. So I just said, listen, I'll show you how to set up a trust. And he asked me to be the beneficiary. So I'm getting mail there because I'm the trustee for his land trust. Got it? So I know you might not understand how land trusts work, but all it is an asset protection thing. So when someone goes to look for you, some creditor or some predator comes looking for you, say you own a house, we don't want to put a six-figure asset in our names, right? But what happens when we die? Everybody comes out of the woodwork and they want to take claim to that asset. But when you use a trust, when you die or pass on into the next life, when we pass on to the afterlife, your trust will designate who the next owner is. So if something happens to the owner, all I have to do is show the title company this piece of paper. They'll change the title without having to go through any process. Real cool, actually. So we're gonna wait to the title company. I gotta drop something off and then we'll check out the next house.
So, Chris, a couple of things about these documents we got here. The first one, what is the standard authorization release? What is that all about?
Good question. Okay, so we're kind of being that we're in the car, a bunch of grown men, we're gonna talk while we're in the car about real estate. Okay, I think it's a good idea. Thank you, by the way, Demetrius.
Absolutely.
You're doing a great job. So the documents, how do we set the moving parts up for a subject to deal? I don't want to crash. First document you gotta have, standard authorization to release information. You wanna hold that up? Looks like that. And all it is, black ink on white paper. I love it. Black ink on white paper, guys. That's all this stuff is. So don't be intimidated by it as I was many years ago. Don't be intimidated by any of this stuff just because you don't understand it. So if we were to, what would happen? Let me ask you, Daniel, if you owned your home and I called up your mortgage company and I said, hey, Wells Fargo, how much does Daniel owe on ABC 123 Easy Street? What would they say?
Yeah, they're going to say, we don't know who you are, and we don't know what the heck you want.
There you go.
So
We ain't talking to you.
we're not talking.
We're not talking to you. There you go. They're not going to do any of that crap, right? So what we need to do, they won't divulge any information to a third party without having permission from the mortgage, from the borrower. Right. So that document there just sends to the bank, hey, Mrs. Smith allows Chris Haskins or Daniel Baird to talk about my loan on my behalf. Authorization to release information to Chris Haskins or Demetrius or Daniel or John. So the authorization to release information is the first thing you gotta have to verify what they owe on the mortgage. Because how many of you guys know sellers lie about what they owe? They lie about their mortgage payment, they lie about how many months they're behind, all that crap. So you gotta have the authorization. That's the first document. And before we get too far, I know your arm is getting tired.
Yeah, okay.
We saw the guy at the house, the white guy with the tattoos and everything. The bank sent him there because apparently my buyer was behind in payments. So the bank sent him there to do some repairs and change the locks. I don't know why in America a lender can change the locks on a house that they don't even own. It's not fair to me. All right. After you. We're making a quick pit stop here, guys. A day in the life. We've got a closing today that I will not be at because we don't go to closings. We send representatives to closings. We've got a referral. Here's our seller, and she's beautiful. She's going to sign what we always get. You guys are getting some good information today. We always get a referral from everybody we buy a house from. Who else in the world? Who else is going to love you more than somebody that you are either giving money to or offering them debt relief, saving their house, in this case, saving them from going into foreclosure. We're saving her credit. So we give them a referral. I write something here that makes me look like I'm an angel. And then at the bottom here, we politely ask, please describe a detailed a specific experience, in detail, a specific experience with us that you are happy with. All right, so we'll get a whole paragraph here in her handwriting. So when we buy another house, we'll get that referral. We're here at the title company. I just wanted to introduce our ride-along guys today to a title company that understands wholesale deals, subject to deals, lease options, owner financing. All title companies don't understand that stuff. So I just wanted to introduce them to everybody so you guys know exactly who to come to when you get a wholesale deal. All right, so we left the title company here. We got another referral here. I had to pick up one from another guy we bought a house from. And these referrals, I'm here to tell you, 50-cent piece of paper can give you so much poundage of credibility when you go talk to a seller. Unbelievable. All right, let's get rolling. All right, so this next house we're going to is a gentleman. He's a part-time investor, I would say. He's got several properties that he wants us to take over the payments. So we're gonna do something called a sandwich lease option on these, a sandwich lease option. That's where we get a lease option to buy it. Then we get a down payment when we sell it to a tenant buyer. So we're gonna buy it on a lease option and sell it on a lease option. How you like that? But you can be, sandwich lease options, I'm not going to recommend you to do that if you do not know the seller intimately. Like, this is a personal friend of a friend. Because if you try to do a sandwich lease option and then the tenant buyer in the end, the guy you're buying it from acts real funny and you can't deliver your lease option to the new tenant buyer, it can get a little tricky for you. But if you're a newbie, I don't recommend you doing sandwich lease options. But I'm going to show you how we put them together today and what they look like actually. We're talking about debt. Oh, we are right now. We're talking about debt. John is telling us how he signed up. Go ahead, John. Dave Ramsey and all that stuff.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey's a pretty sharp guy. He's a Christian financial advisor or financial guru who really established himself in helping people get out of debt and stay out of debt. One of his major principles is based on when you're in debt, you're more than likely paying anywhere between 15 and 20% interest on your money. And that's killing you because you're constantly going backwards and paying other people's bills. If you can find some way to get out of debt, then you can really turn the tide around and you can earn money on your capital. So even if you're only making $20,000 a year, if you're not spending 15 or 20% of it on interest, paying other people's fortune, you can put 20% of it into your future. And even if you're only getting 8% interest on your money, at least compound over the next 20 years, you'd be surprised. Get yourself a debt calculator, not a debt calculator, get yourself an investment calculator and do a few calculations, and you might find your world changes drastically very quickly. But get out of debt. That's my thing.
Get out of debt.
It's the best thing you'll ever do in your life.
All right. Thanks for that knowledge, John. Okay, guys, so we're here. We're just rolling, guys, talking. I think this is some great information to give to you because I don't want you to think that you're alone if you have high debt. So we were just talking about debt in the car, and Demetrius had an interesting story. Demetrius, tell us a little bit about your debt.
Well, my debt came mostly from student loans. Started off at community college because it was a cheaper option. But
what state was that in?
That was in Washington State. Washington State, Tacoma, Washington, between Tacoma and Seattle. Okay. And when I started school, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. So then you're actually taking that time in school, figuring it out. That's costing money, especially I started school when I was about 25. That's when I started at community college. I already had a kid. Okay. So I was trying to figure that out. And you're taking that time to learn. That took about 3 years, taking student loans out to survive. Because you're either going to go full-time or you're going to go part-time, work a job, or go night school. My thing was to go full-time, but I needed to take student loans out. Okay. And then
grad school came?
Well, first, after that, then I got out of 2-year community college to the university, Did 2 years at University of Washington.
Okay.
So that was another 2 years or so. At that point in time, I kind of figured it out, but it was EGL, so Ethnic, Gender, and Labor Studies, something that you can't really take out after 4 years to go work somewhere. Like nobody's really taking, it's not biology or anything like that, just going straight to work. So started working at places, Comcast, this, that, and the third, or whatever.
Let me ask you, when you came out of undergrad, what was your debt load?
Well, that was probably, University of Washington was probably about 40 at that point in time.
40, okay.
Yeah, probably 40 or something at that point in time.
Fast forward, okay.
Yeah, fast forward. You get out, start trying to work or whatever, can't find nothing. All right, so I'm gonna go back to school. Went back to school for education. So that's when I went, got a teaching certificate, teaching degree.
Okay.
At ODU. But ODU want their price point too, you know what I mean? So then you add more debt on there, and then you get out and find out that I still didn't even teach at the high school. I'm 6 through 12 certified, but I didn't teach at the high school. I went straight to college. I had a old teacher that pulled me into the college system.
Okay.
So I was working there. That definitely helped. But at this point in time, when you start changing your mind about education, you first have to figure out what you want to get your education in, or get certified in, degree in, or whatever. And if it's not something that's booming in the industry out here in this world,
like computer science, or
computer
like
science, something of that sort. Yeah. And it's actually coming to find out that there's research to say that people are relying more on the trade schools now because it's right to work. You know what I mean? These liberal arts degrees, something like, there's enough thinkers. They want workers now, you know, and that's where the boom is. And so I realized that late, or not late, you know, I wanted to teach, you know what I mean? But after you get out, first of all, there's a ceiling, and then you start figuring out about the world of education and how education is changing. So,
I hear you say that ceiling a lot.
Yeah. Ceiling to me is where there's a set price point or position or whatever you reach. Salary, yeah, exactly. Salary or position that you can't really go past that. You know what I mean? Like that's destined for you. You can reach up to it, but you can actually see it. You know what I mean? And that's one of the great things about real estate, is that it's kind of how hard you work. You know? It's kind of how hard you work and how much you network.
Gotcha.
So, and that's where I'm at now currently. So I guess that's where we're all at.
Yeah. What's your plan on your debt though? What is your goal? Just if you care sharing it.
Oh yeah.
How much is it now?
Well, my debt right now, I mean, student loans, I got credit cards and stuff like that, so it's consolidated now. I'm paying it down, you know what I mean? But it changes all the time. I mean, I call all the time the banks and say, hey, like, can I lower that APR? And most of the time, all it takes is a call. You call them and say, hey, can you lower that APR on that credit card? And they'll say, oh, well, we typically do it once a year or something like that. Some other knowledge like that. And that's what I've done it, you know what I mean? Several times, just call them and say, hey, can y'all lower the APR? And they do it. So, and I've done that on all my credit cards actually, but I try to stay away from consumerism. Like I told you, that everybody wants the new Xbox, PlayStation, Jordans, every there you go.
Whatever the new doodad.
Yeah, whatever the new thing is. So, but yeah, just being diligent with paying it down and making sure you try to keep your eyes closed when it comes down to every sale that every company is having. You know
what advice would you give our viewers that are perhaps going to college or thinking about going to college or in college? What would you say about student loan debt and what has affected you?
Well, it coordinates with knowing what you want to do before you go into it. So I would say do your own research first about what you're trying to do. Don't let going to school be your research in what you're trying to become. So don't start school and say, I don't really know what I want to do. Unknown degree, and just start doing general. I mean, it's nice to transfer, but you could do a lot. There's so much research online, YouTube, whatever the case may be, that you don't have to really worry about you know, wait until you get into school to find out what, figure it out. You know what I mean? You could figure it out and make sure it's worth it. You know what I mean? Make sure it's worth it. Yeah.
Figure out what you want to do. When you talk about your major.
Your major. Figure out what you want to do. Do research on the major before you start trying to do the major. You know what I mean? Like try to figure out what the job prospect or growth is, you know, because you can go into something that's going to close out.
You talking about the whole industry?
The whole industry, or you know what I mean, or something that's not as lucrative as something else. Yeah, something the market is changing, the world is changing. Everything is starting to get what do you call it, like mobile? Mobile online first, but then also like a lot of the computers are taking over actual jobs. So if you're trying to do something that a job, that's where the trade stuff comes in at sometimes, I guess. What's that? Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. Like you go to the grocery, hey, there you go. You go to the grocery store. They need less customer service workers. They want more. They got more self work. Even Amazon, you know what I mean? They got self checkout now.
Yeah, Amazon has this daggone computer robots.
Yeah, you just go
working in the warehouse.
They need less people, so you really got to worry about what you trying to get into.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for dropping that knowledge, Demetrius.
Well, I appreciate being on the spot.
Yeah, on the spot.
No doubt.
Roll. Okay, guys, we are here at our next location. You got the homies behind me a little bit. Don't act like you're getting them, but
no, I got them.
Yeah, whenever you got the homies in the back, always bad. In the middle of the day, it is 12 o'clock on a Friday. You got the homies on the front porch.